Hey guys, Shaking the Main, Debut.com with a Debut.com forecast update. This forecast update effective around 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday, July 10th, 2017, and starts you off with the latest 5-day tropical cyclone chances of formation out of the National Hurricane Center. Watching a tropical wave now just to the southwest of the Cape Verde Islands. 20% chance of development next 5 days. We go take a look at it on the visible satellite imagery this morning. And again, here are the Cape Verde Islands right here where I'm circling. And then southwest to the Cape Verde Islands is the tropical wave. Now, there's a couple of features in here. There's another one that's right in here. The flow is like this. This is intertropical convergence zone. And here's the area of low pressure or possible 95L invest coming with this. But we'll switch you over to the Saharan air layer map. For those of you who are unfamiliar with what Saharan air layer, which is called SAL, is, it's dry, dusty air that filters into the Atlantic that inhibits tropical cyclone development. But as tropical waves move off the African coast into the Atlantic, the cyclonic spin that they develop can help gobble up that dry air. Vice versa, when it's strong, a lot of dry air can suppress it and dry the circulation out, robbing it of moisture. So again, here is this one right here. Here is the tropical wave that the National Hurricane Center is giving 20% chance of development. We have another wave and accompanying attendant low that's with it that'll be moving out into the Atlantic over the next 2 to 3 days. That'll chop this part probably off and giving the next wave behind it chance to breathe. We'll switch you over to the loop just so that you can see how this works now. And during this time of year, we get spins that drop in here just to the southwest of the Azores as they drop in, and you'll see that one right there pushing up behind what was tropical depression number 4. And also you'll see down in here, here's that tropical wave that's moving off. You'll see it had a lot of cloud convection with it. And then the Saharan air moved in and it dropped it down to the size of a dime right in here. But you'll see the air is clear around it. And then also this one down in here, you'll also see the air is clear around it. So that's indication, and again, here's this other wave that's moving off. That's indication that the air is starting to clear a little bit, giving these chances, systems, tropical waves, a chance to breathe as they come off the African coast. Taking you over to the latest 72-hour surface forecast out of the National Hurricane Center. National Hurricane Center showing area of low pressure lifting off towards the northwest. X marks the spot in here towards the eastern Caribbean. Latest 5-day GFS forecast showing an area of low pressure now entering the eastern Caribbean. There is some suspect to this because the Euro model shows an area of low pressure moving into the eastern Caribbean but does not develop it. So lots of time to watch. Follow us on our social feeds for real-time updates, just so that you know how that works. We post all of our real-time updates on Twitter, and then we typically share over to the other 2 platforms, Instagram and Facebook. However, we do not share everything that we post on Twitter over to those 2 platforms. Going to switch you over now to the closer to home and the remnants of TD4. Now, this is the 3rd day we've seen some convective flare-up. Now, this is this morning now, and for those who have been following this system, I know a couple of nights ago my phone started blowing up when that first big flare-up of convection was firing up. Everybody wanted, all my friends that are in my contact list on my phone, texting me, asking me, sorry I didn't get a chance to get back to you guys, been busy on that. But there has been a little area of spin that's been over here, over the island Hispaniola and covering the Mona Passage. And for those of you who don't follow us on Twitter, a couple of things we'll point out here is here's this fork in the road that we've talked about where sometimes where these systems come in, I have seen before where a tropical wave will come in here like this, and then the islands split the northern extension off of the wave. The main axis of the wave continues off in a westerly direction through the Caribbean, but that northern extension splits off here at the islands and then works its way into the Bahamas where it gets a chance to spin up. That's what we've been detailing about this fork in the road pattern that we've talked about. But last night, convection flared up really nicely in through this morning with this little vorticity spin that was here. And we've got some inflow here out of the south. And then we're starting to see a broader cyclonic flow because this upper level wind, or excuse me, upper level low that's in here, the shear that it was creating actually stalled this system now. This is the third day that it's been in here, and it looks like it's about to release today, and then it'll get into a little bit better environment as the next couple of 2 or 3 days progresses. Now, the latest 72-hour forecast wind wave out of the National Hurricane Center only showing seas getting up into about 6 to 8 feet in here, and that is unless we get some strengthening over the next 24 to 48 hours. Latest swell model forecast showing some east-southeast swell 8 to 10 seconds over the next 48 to 72 hours. Now we're going to switch this over to the current loop now, and I haven't refreshed it since we started this video. It's probably been 10 or 15 minutes, but you can see that convection is once again firing up ever so slowly. And if you look down here, look at this southwest flow into the convection. Again, there's spin in here, guys, and all it takes is for the right elements to come together at the right time to get something going. And it looks like this area of spin that is north here of Hispaniola is going to help to continue to induce some convection this afternoon, and we may be able to start to see some wrap. Notice how this curvature in here out in front of the system, and then again, if you look down in here, look at this flow. Let me pull this down a little bit for you so you'll understand the southern flank of this as southern air gets drawn up into this, and you'll see how rotation wants to try and develop right in here. And then once that upper level low feature now releases that, this allows this type of flow to break through that upper level low shear, and then you can see the curvature now starting to develop. It's something that we're watching. The latest run of the European model. Give me a second. I have to adjust this here and kind of zoom in. But you'll see here the European model moves it up into the panhandle and is trying to bring it back. Now, that's just a weak area of low pressure, guys. Maybe some 25, 30 knot winds. But the reminder here is weak areas of low pressure known to produce copious amounts of wind. Copious amounts of rain. Looking at the latest visible. Now, let me take you to this loop right here. And this is the Gulf of Mexico. And one of the things that we like to do is we like to start to backtrack from where the models say something may try to develop and look at to see what the pattern is. Now, this goes from last night into this morning. Now, let me draw you back over closer to this system as we get in, and because the Bahamas is the next stop for where this is headed. Give me a second, guys. I'll slowly pull it over for you. Okay, so now Puerto Rico starts to come into view here, and now you can see that rotational, that little more defined rotational spin in here. Now, it may not have enough time to spin up before it gets to the coast or gets in here towards the Bahamas, but what's key here is that other factors other than wind shear and dry air come into play here, because we've got the Gulf Stream, and we have some of the high elevations in here off Cuba and Hispaniola, and some of those things are known to either disrupt circulation or actually can enhance circulation. So it's something we are keeping an eye on. It's only got another 48 to 72 hours to go before it starts to approach in here. Follow us on our social feeds for the real-time updates. Twitter first, Instagram, and then Facebook. That's Dadaboo on Twitter, @Dadaboo. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next update.